3, 2, 1, let's go. Oh hey, how's it going? I was gonna write about this in a journal or something, or to ChatGPT, or to whatever friend was unfortunate enough to be cornered by me at my next social event, but I thought, hey, let's make a video about this while I'm still excited. This will be less of a tutorial and more of like a high-level overview of the concepts and reasonings that went into it and figuring it out. But if you'd like a tutorial on anything you see, let me know and I'll see what I can do. A little bit of background, I obviously haven't uploaded video, like a real video, in months, debatably years. But I have been doing stuff in the background, primarily learning Unreal Engine. And a big part of that has been learning blending animations and getting animations to work, both like Mixamo stuff and my own stuff.
Hey, dum-dum! You want pay to win and got a mocap suit. Why don't you just record everything yourself, and then you don't have to worry about blending anything.
Okay, that is true. I went pay to win option, but there's a few reasons on why learning a technique like this is still good. First of all, it's because I don't like using the pay to win option. It makes me feel guilty, like I can only do it because I paid money. So I like to, as much as possible, use free and openly available options, including Mixamo, and only using the custom stuff when I require custom stuff. Number two, even if I recorded every single thing custom, you're still doing multiple takes, and then clipping those takes together requires some sort of blending, and I'm gonna have to learn this either way. And then number three is that the biggest pro of motion capture is it's able to capture exactly what you're doing, is also its biggest con, because it can only capture exactly what you're doing. And this point is huge, because as a single guy in a basement suite, I don't have the room to do very much. And even if I did, I don't have the ability to do anything I really like to do. For example, let's say I want to Superman jump into the air, and then superhero crash into the ground. I'd have to be able to do that in real life, which is actually what a lot of big budget things do. They're big budget though. They have massive stages and rigs to haul people around. I'm not going to go jump off my landlord's roof just to get a superhero landing. But we can fill in these gaps with other animation clips, whether it's from an asset library like Mixamo, or hand animated, or maybe something like Cascador. We can connect the dots and leverage both techniques to have super realistic motion capture, as well as super insane abilities for our scenes. That's one of the reasons I've been switching over to Unreal Engine, is that it's got a really neat feature called bone matching. And it does, well, exactly what it sounds like. It'll take a selected bone and use it as a reference to match the location and rotation with that of either the previous or the next clip in the sequence. This means, let's say our last clip ended facing east, but our next clip starts facing south, we can offset that south-facing animation to be east-facing. Super handy. This plays really nicely with another concept that Unreal has, where you can simply just drag two animations on top of each other, and they'll just blend between each other, which is super, super convenient.
So if this all works so great, then what's the issue? It sounds like it's using the out-of-box Unreal experience.
Okay, yeah, this isn't the craziest thing. It's pretty simple. It's just Unreal Engine stuff. But to explain why this is a bigger deal, or turned into a bigger deal rather, I gotta go under the hood of it, what actually kind of makes this possible. And it kind of hinges on a method called root motion. Root motion, I've been trying to think of a good way of explaining it, but basically it's separating the location and rotation from a character's animation. Basically taking an animation that's in global space and then putting it inside of a container that moves the animation around. So this allows us to blend in and out, because instead of matching the location, rotation, and scale of every controller in global space, it's matching them in local space relative to the container's offset. I think. I'll be honest, I'm really confused on why this works. So if you know or have a better explanation, leave me a comment, because I would honestly love to know. But either way, normally you can't tell if an animation has root motion or not, because root motion done properly perfectly compensates for the transformation of the animation that's inside of it.
Okay, so why do I care? Looks fine to me, just using bone matching or whatever, in the same spot and offset.
Well, you care because it comes down to blending. If you're lazy, you don't have to blend. You can just use like a camera cut to hide our jump cut. But we're not lazy. We just don't upload videos because, okay, we're lazy. But let's pretend we're not lazy. So we're going to blend them. And if we take a look in Unreal Engine, you can see we have some animations here. We got an animation here, then we got a sneaking animation, And then we got just a generic kind of walking animation. And you can see this one here blends really nicely into the next one. There's a little bit of a mix-up, but like for the most part, it blends pretty nicely. Then if we look at this one here, it kind of jump cuts. It's a little bit off on either one, but there we go. But it works. If we try to blend this one though, you can see it starts to fall apart. All of a sudden, he's looping around. Why is that? Let's see if this guy does it too. They're both looping around for some reason. And the issue is because this clip doesn't have root motion, while these do. And you can see it much more clearly if we go and enable control rigs. So if we look here, we can see our control rig. We've got our little container here that's following along our animation, and just blends together to the next one really nicely. When we come here, it's offsetting itself. It doesn't move with our animation. It stays stagnant while our animation moves in global space. So this works when we have no time, because it's literally just teleporting. You see there? But when we give it time to translate, we can see the compensation is entirely off. Now I'm like 90% sure that's just because Rococo wants you to buy the DLC season pass for their software, because their animation actually does have root motion. It's just locked behind a paywall and export. And I'm not about to hand more money over to Rococo, see reason one. But let's extract the root motion ourselves. The default retargeter in Unreal actually is trying to extract the root motion. You can see this in our Mixamo animation. And whether it's a 90% chance that Rococo wants my money, or the 10% chance that Unreal is actually just looking in the wrong spot, the solution, more likely the workaround, is actually really simple. When we go to retargeter animation, Unreal Engine gives us a default built-in retargeter. But we need to modify a few things. So instead of exporting the animation, we're going to export the retargeting asset. Now, this took a while to find because, as with everything Unreal, there's basically no documentation. But under the post settings, we can see the post process that the retargeting is doing. This first option is a root motion extraction, or root motion generation rather. What it looks like it's doing is it's looking for the lowest level of bone it can in the skeleton to be the root bone. Because in theory, any root motion in the animation would be applied to this bone. But for some reason, Rococo adds 2 bones below its lowest animated bone, so Unreal is extracting motion from nothing. So all we really have to do is look not at the lowest bone of the hierarchy, but the lowest bone in the animation. In our case, it's the hips bone. We can see that by going over to the source here. You can see that there is hips, retarget root, and then there's a root, which doesn't actually have anything. So we want to use hips instead. And then if we go to post settings here, we can see it's trying to use the source root bone. If we set it to hips, that's basically done. There's a few other things we can change by changing it to generate to the target pelvis and snap to ground and rotate. But basically, once we save that, if we go in and retarget now, instead of using our auto-generated retargeter, we use the new one we made right here. Select our asset. Export our animations to, let's just, say Mixamo. Now you can see that same animation has its capsule following along. Now, compared with our last one, we have a nice smooth animation here. And, yeah, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was at least interesting a little bit to somebody. But yeah, thanks for letting me yap to you about what I learned. And if you enjoyed me explaining this as much as I enjoyed learning about it, then leave a like on the video and let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see. I find I do this a lot where I learn something, get super excited about it, and really want to share it with someone. But then it quickly becomes from new and interesting to mundane and like boring. And I feel like no one will care and everyone already knows it and no one will find it interesting. So I don't know. Let me know if you'd actually like to see more of these like what I've learned style videos. Because I don't know, honestly, there's a lot of stuff like getting custom characters in using the default control rig and just working. Like technically all of this is just working with okay, little sneak peek. We're going way off the rails here. Like we can just come in here and make this compile, save. I wasn't planning on doing this. It's just happening live. Boom. Now we're this character instead of the basic one. Like, I don't know, maybe this is, like, not a big deal to anyone else, but, like, I can't find tutorials that actually tell you how to do this. Like, and I don't know whether it's because it's super obvious and everyone knows, and I'm just an idiot, or if, like, no one actually makes games in Unreal Engine. Not that I'm making a game, but, like, oh man, this game turned into a rant. Okay, if you want to hear me rant about Unreal Engine and tutorials, leave a comment on that, because I could go off. Anyways, yeah, thanks for watching. I hope this was, again, somewhat interesting. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching.